Hi, everybody.
Hi, Greg.
What up, Greg?
How are you all? We are joined by Mira Goto. That made you sound. That almost sounded like you were Japanese or something. Mira Goto.
Well, my husband's
Goto.
Japanese, and it is Goto. So yeah, you nailed it.
And Renee, you should introduce your pal.
Andrew St. James.
Howdy.
Andrew St. James, dear old friend.
Happy to
Back
be
with
here.
us
Nice to see you,
again
Renee.
after- Both of you have been on the podcast. Good to see you. Good to see you both. This is my brother Rob.
Yeah, we
Rob.
should explain what's going on first of all. So, first of all, thank you all for joining us on this virtual happy hour. We've been doing these since this whole thing has been going on. So over 3 months. I think this is our 7th or our 8th one. I know that Andrew St. James and Mira Goto have brought their fans to this and may have no clue who Renee and I are.
Why we do this?
Or why we do this. So Renee and I were on K-Fog Radio for years and years and years, and then they fired us all. And then we started doing a podcast, and we do it in front of a live audience once a month. And Mira has been a guest at the Haight Street Art Center, probably a year and a half ago. Anyway, since the whole pandemic happened, we've taken it online, and we do it every 2 weeks. And our podcast is supported on Patreon by, we have a number of very loyal patrons that support the show. And now we have no overheads because we don't have to put on a live show anymore. So we pass the money that we make from Patreon on to the artists, because artists are going to be unfortunately, live music, or certainly live music as we know it, is going to be the last thing to come back from this. So that's who Renee and I are. I have no idea how everybody's looking at this in their gallery view, or where everybody is, if I'm up or down or whatever. But Renee, who is this person sitting next to you?
This is my big brother, Rob.
Yay.
We're together. We're touching each other during this pandemic. So sadly, my brother and I have come together in South Carolina. I had to fly out from California to South Carolina. He just got down here from Boston. Our mom is very sick. She has cancer. It was diagnosed very quickly, and it is very aggressive. So we came down here together to be with her. And thankfully, both of us have jobs that allow us to work remotely. And so we can still sustain ourselves while we're here with our family. So that's why we're here together.
Or quit and come down.
Or quit and come down.
Well, Renee,
not mine. I'm not
Renee,
He's not kidding.
I'm not kidding. Oh, and Rocco's here too.
Oh, Rocco.
Rocco doesn't like Rob.
Rocco doesn't like anybody having joy.
No, there is no joy. Rocco.
Damn it, Rocco.
That's like my job. Well, Renee, I have known about your mother. Obviously, you and I have spoken, but this is the first time a lot of people are hearing about it. So I know we speak for everybody when we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
She's a tough cookie. She's hanging in there. She's strong, but it's tough. It's tough.
And she actually requested that Rocco make the cross-country trip.
She did. She wanted him more than me, I think. And she said, we'll be bringing the dog. So we brought Rocco, and she's been having a wonderful time with him. My folks live on a golf course. And so after dinner every evening, we take Rocco out on the golf course. And because it's just hills of green and no other dogs, he runs like he owns the place with his tongue hanging out. He's having the best time. So
wonderful. Well, we invited Mira and Andrew on tonight because they both are doing something unique. Everybody is jonesing for live music, and not this version of live music. You know, this this has its imperfections for sure. And we're all probably getting tired of these virtual live streamed shows, but unfortunately that's kind of the way it is. But both Mira and Andrew have figured out a way to actually bring real live music to the people. And we will talk about that with both of them in just a moment. But I think we should get a tune from you guys. So I'll be chivalrous and I'll say, Mira, why don't you go first? If you wouldn't mind playing a song for us, we would greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys, both of you, very much for having me on tonight. It's been a while since we've gotten to share some music together, and I've been looking forward to it since you reached out. So I, like a lot of other songwriters, have been doing a lot of Skype writing, as we call it, when you write over, it doesn't have to be Skype, it could be any sort of platform where you can video call with your co-writers, but writing remotely. And this song, I think the shelter in place order for us started on March 17th. And my friend Steve Seskin, also a Bay Area guy, he and I wrote the song on like a March 20th. So this one's called Crazy Times. These are crazy times we're living in. I could lose my mind if I start giving in. One moment I'm okay, the next I'm terrified. But I know I'm not alone on this roller coaster ride, trying to make the most of these crazy times. Calling up old friends just to catch up with them, talking about back in the day. Helping out a neighbor, trading little favors, not used to living life this way. I'm taking piano lessons from someone in Australia once a week. And for the first time in my life, I'm all caught up on sleep. I pray my soul to keep in these crazy times we're living in. I can lose my mind if I start giving in. One moment I'm okay, the next I'm terrified. But I know I'm not alone on this roller coaster ride, trying to make the most of these crazy times. No more multitasking, hardly any traffic, pancakes in the morning every day. I'm doing puzzles on the table and feeling pretty grateful for everyone who's asked if I'm okay. I've been reading poetry that speaks to me, it makes me whole. And I'm listening to old records that soothe my restless soul. It's the only way to go in these crazy times we're living in. I can lose my mind if I start giving in. One moment I'm okay, the next I'm terrified. But I know I'm not alone on this roller coaster ride, trying to make the most of these crazy times. Trying to make the most of these crazy times. Thank you.
That was fantastic.
That was awesome. Thank you, Mira.
Thank you so much. I had this little thing on my phone that was going to do this wild crowd applause. Because it's weird when you're playing these shows and you play and then I'm fidgeting about trying to get everybody unmuted and you have to sit there in total silence.
I'm used to it at this point, you know.
But
everybody's used to it. Yeah.
People online are loving this. So given that you wrote that 3 days after we went into shelter in place lockdown in the Bay Area, how have the times gotten crazier?
Are you still doing puzzles and eating pancakes? That's what I want.
No, we're protesting now. That's what we're doing.
What are we doing?
Yeah,
What
for
did you
real.
say?
Protesting.
Protesting, right?
Oh, yeah.
We went from COVID. We went from COVID season to protesting season very quickly.
Absolutely.
As somebody said, the COVID decorations are still up.
What are those, Craig? What do those look like?
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh, okay.
We got a lot of people watching us online, and we really appreciate it. It really helps the musicians who, both Mira and Andrew, that are performing tonight, that you share this. We ask that everybody who's watching it right now, share it with your friends, please. Because we're trying to raise some money, or, basically pay Mira and Andrew, because musicians have no way of making any money. So if you're watching this, I know you're watching it, you can only watch it on Facebook. In the description of this video is links to PayPal and Venmo for both Andrew and Mira. And if you're feeling particularly generous, we also have a link to donate to the Blue Bear School of Music, where Renee is on the board, and charities, just like everything else, are finding it difficult at the moment, right, Renee?
And Andrew, you have a connection to Blue Bear, right?
Yeah, I think I took some classes from Bonnie Hayes there when I was in high school. And I started dating her daughter, and then I stopped taking classes. It's all good.
And there's that part too.
There's that part.
So you guys both have been in the news recently because you're doing something quite innovative. And well, Andrew, you were in the Chronicle the other day, so maybe we'll start with you about how, because probably we spoke to Sam Chase about this early on. He was a guest.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, the well kind of runs dry on these live streams like we're doing, and you only reach so many people, and it's the same people over and over again, and it doesn't replace the real thing. So you came up with a novel idea pretty much at the same time as Mira did, but just tell us about yours for a moment.
Sure. I mean, I think that a lot of people I know in music, a lot of my friends, artists, et cetera, like come up with the same idea. It just was a matter of doing it. I'm not sure if Mira feels the same way, but yeah, I mean, I play in a couple bands, and we've been doing a bunch of the live stream stuff for Noise Pop and for a couple other places, and yeah, it just always felt really, this is nice because we're talking, which is great, but often it feels very dry and kind of sad, yeah, and so I was kind of nudged by I throw parties in San Francisco now under the moniker Fast Times Presents. I was throwing parties at Amnesia before it closed, and then at the Chapel as well. And I have a partner in that, and she kind of pushed me to do the live shows on the street thing. And yeah, I mean, I kind of was worried. I was worried that, that there'd be sound complaints, that there would be like, particularly in San Francisco, there'd just be like noise complaints and people would be not very happy about it. But the outpouring of like people being so, just feeling joy, like if something so small, like 3 tracks, and then like me and my buddy like fucking around. Can I swear on this program?
Yes, no, it's no problem at all. So,
sorry.
Andrew, we did post a link to the Datebook story that Aideen Vazeri wrote about you, but just for those who don't know, just very, very kind of basic, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I've been taking requests on my Instagram page, and then I've been making routes every so often after I work. I work as an essential worker in San Francisco currently to pay the rent. And after work, I'll go with my buddy and we'll route out whatever people, different request stops. We'll pull up in front of people's houses, play a couple songs, say goodbye, and leave.
So if I go, first of all, what's your Instagram?
Andrew St. James is my name.
Okay, Andrew St. James.
Yeah.
And if I go on there and say, I live up at the top of Mount Davidson in the middle of nowhere, my neighbors wouldn't be happy at all. But if I went on and said, I want you to come up here and play Freebird, you would?
No Freebird. No, I don't take requests. That's my one rule. No fucking requests. But yeah, I do that. And we haven't been taking payment. Generally, we've been kind of just, particularly with everything that's been going on, And there's a lot of things that need money right now.
Yeah.
And so like I've at first it was like, oh man, I can like make a buck doing this shit. And then at a point it kind of, I just felt that was inappropriate.
So Andrew, what's the setup like? So do you guys like hop out of the car and just start playing, or are you amplified, or what's the story?
So it depends on which friend I can convince to drive us around. But we have one friend who has a really sweet Toyota Tacoma with power in the back of the bed. And so when he's down to come and he lives up in West Marin, so it depends. He's a nice photographer named Brett. This is a photographer named Brett Walker. It's fantastic. You can check out his stuff. But when Brett's down, we have an electric guitar. My buddy Scott will come and play some electric guitar, and I'll sing vocal harmonies, etc. And I play acoustic guitar. But outside of that, it's generally going around in Scott's Ford Explorer, and I'll stand on the roof.
Cool.
Great. I love it.
So,
has anyone gotten mad at you yet?
No, not yet.
the year is young.
Yeah, I mean, we've only done it like 5 times or something, so it could happen.
We're going to hear from Mira and what she's doing, which is not dissimilar in a moment. But let's get a tune from Andrew St. James.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, so I wrote this song in 2016. Right, I through David Eggers, I had a song that was on this 30 days, 30 songs against Trump thing, and I thought it was objectively not very like anti-Trump. It was more like the system's totally fucked up and people should pay more attention, which is the conversation we're having now, 4 years later. And a song was called what was it called? It's called "Making It Great Again." So it's kind of a joke. And that went out on that with REM and a handful of other like large artists. I was easily the tiniest man on there. But I was in New York City right when Trump won the election, and I've been receiving all sorts of like threats and shit. I was on touring solo, and I wrote the song called "Light After Darkness" about just how I felt at the time, and I kind of lost it. It's usually generally played on piano, but I'll play it for you on guitar right now. And as all this stuff's been happening, boiling right now, it kind of popped back into my head, and I was like, oh, that's a song I wrote. And yeah, here it goes. "Light After Darkness." I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Is that good, Greg? Good. It's been a life of miscommunication. There's writing on the wall as I answer to the call. Something's died inside my intuition. The cost of living free lost a part of me. Memories fade as time goes by. Drunk and dancing on the 4th of July. Where will we go after it dies now? Baby, maybe, maybe, baby, maybe I don't like the way it ends. Men act like little kids, and I wonder if there was a reason to believe if I believe in. There's a hole inside a constitution that puts man into a cage, denies a living wage. Is there something wrong with every single person? Is there virtue inside greed? Where's the pride inside deceit? Memories fade as time goes by. Drunk and dancing on the 4th of July. Where will they go after we die now? Baby, maybe, maybe, baby, maybe I don't like the way it is. Man acts like little kids, and I wonder if there's a reason to believe if I believe in here. today. Will you see me again? It's been a lifetime of presumed offense, and I wonder if there's a reason for me now to go start changing.
Hang on.
Oh, whoa. That's big time.
The roaring crowd. The roaring crowd.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Now I don't know how to stop it. Sorry.
Wait,
Too
Greg,
good.
Greg, I should mention to you, since staying here in South Carolina, my dad watches soccer all day,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And they're doing they play a track of the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's not dissimilar to that.
Yeah, exactly. So that, they have the soccer match game, whatever it is. And there in the stadium, the people are playing to a whole different environment, but we get to hear the crowd from other games, which is super funny.
I have to say, I haven't dipped my toes into watching European football yet. Kind of waiting for American sports to come back, but at least it keeps. So is your dad watching like the Bundesliga or the?
No, he's a big Man U fan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mr. United.
I watched the Bundesliga. He watches Man U.
Okay, very good. Andrew, that song was wonderful, and it still holds up 4 years later.
Somehow.
Yes.
We had Dave Eggers and B. Beeman on our show actually when that record that you were on came out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's right.
Turn up your volume again, Andrew.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Thank
you for reminding me. I appreciate that.
For the production, he needs to lower himself.
Renee
and I did a show. We did the show a month beforehand, before the election with B. Beeman and Dave Eggers.
Right.
And then we had to do a show the day after the election.
So we were so hopeful on one end and so disappointed on the other end.
Which was pretty
a roller coaster of emotion.
So Mira,
simpler times.
Tell us how you came to do your well, tell us what your mobile concerts are like.
Okay, well, I'm doing what I'm calling a mobile concerts, and people can hire me, and I will drive over to your house, and you can be having a little front yard socially distant party. I don't care if you invite people. I ask that, people stay compliant with the current restrictions in place. Right. But I'm not checking anybody's houses, you know what I mean. So, but I have all my sound equipment as battery powered, so I can set it all up in the back of the truck. And I even got some little banners for people. We're still celebrating things. We've got graduations, we've got birthdays and anniversaries. I even got asked to play a quarantine wedding. So,
oh, Jesus, that's serious stakes.
Yeah.
That's big stakes, dude.
And 4th of July is coming up.
Oh, I'm booked solid that weekend. I got 4
really?
shows. Yeah, totally.
That's sick.
So we should say that Mira's based out of Santa Cruz. How far do you venture from Santa Cruz?
I put a 50-mile limit on it because of San Francisco. I was worried about the same things you're worried about, Andrew. I was worried about noise complaints, and but if you're doing it, I might lose my
She's going to be encroaching on your territory.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We share. I'm not a.
Good.
Yeah.
But just like
we'll travel to Boston.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that in Boston. What do people say to you? God. So I lived in Boston, Rob, for a while. Sorry.
Mira, so it's obviously going really, really well. I mean, you've got a little bit of press out of this, but it's obviously word of mouth, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of people who have booked me again for later in the summer, which is really fun. Or somebody is there and goes, "Oh, like my wife's having a party or having a birthday next month." So, and then it spreads, and then social media is very powerful too. So,
So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, Mira, what's the preferred method?
Well, on my website, miragoto.com, I have a little tab up there for mobile concerts, and I've got a contact form right in there, and it goes right to my email.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Mira,
you know, I have.
Sorry, go ahead, Renee.
No, I was gonna say real quickly, you know, our friend Liz Pisco, who lives up in Fairfax, where I live, her, you know, she's a singer-songwriter, antsy to play with her band, antsy to do something, and so they finally decided to get together in her driveway, and they're like, we're just gonna play, and they told the neighbors, and they got together, and they all socially distanced and just started playing, and I knew it was happening, so I went down there. And damn it, if that didn't just put a wonderful spring in my step. Like, it felt so normal for a second to be sitting outside watching music, and they were in their driveway, and it was just so cathartic to feel that sense of normalcy for just a little bit. So thank you for coming up with these ideas, both of you, because as it is great for you to be able to play, and I'm sure it satisfies something in you, it really satisfies something in all of us that you may not even know is going on. So keep it up. It's awesome. It's totally awesome.
And
Appreciate that.
Mira, your mom checked in. This is something that Renee and I, well, I can't speak for Renee, but I'll speak for myself, because I now have my own tour. I basically give tours of San Francisco to people, or a specific part of San Francisco, the hidden stairways. And so I run into a whole new set of people, because I've basically been in radio and the music business my whole life. And I run into so many people, and they're like, your voice is kind of familiar, and blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing is always, oh, my dad or my mom used to listen to
My mom is
so
such
we just got a message on
life.
Facebook from your mom that she used to listen to Renee and I, which is very gratifying, but makes us feel old.
My mom is a young, hot mom.
Okay,
so
good.
Damn. Wow. Great sell.
So thanks to mom. I've forgotten where we are now. I think it's Mira, your turn for a tune, is it?
I'm on it.
Okay, good. Get another song for Mira Goto.
We're allowed to have a little bit of cussing, right? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Oh, you can curse as much as you like. The more the better.
Just some little baby cuss
No.
words.
Have you heard Andrew the last half
A
hour?
little bit. He's
Except
making
your
me
mother
blush
is
over
watching.
here.
Your mom is watching, so beware.
Yeah, Mom, it's only the words you taught me. Well, this song's called One Step Closer. It's a song I wrote with my friend Lance one night while we were. It's kind of the law in Nashville. I should say I'm based in Santa Cruz. I was born and raised in Santa Cruz, California, but I take trips. I spend about half my time in Nashville now. I live part-time out there. Obviously, I'm grounded right now because of COVID, but as a country artist and songwriter, that you have to show up to win, right? So I live part-time in Nashville, and it's the law out there that you have to drink whiskey. So we wrote this song, my friend Lance and I, one night while we were sharing some whiskey. It's called One Step Closer. He came home with lipstick lies and liquor on his lips, bringing home that kind of shit can sink relationships. He's gonna learn his lesson, he's gonna learn it well. Now I'm one step closer to hell. I poured him another drink, two can play this game, like I handed him a shovel to let him dig a deeper grave. In my mind I'm coming up with stories I could tell. Now I'm 2 steps closer to hell. Whiskey causes anger, and anger made a fist. His fist flew off the handle, I thought I could handle it. Make up the victim, and I commit the crime. Oh, I helped him stumble to the couch and offered him a light. It's the least that I could do, since this would be our final fight. I told him a cigarette would be bad for his health. Now I'm 3 steps closer to hell. Whiskey causes anger, and anger made a fist. His fist flew off the handle, I thought I could handle it. Makeup covers bruises, and bruises heal with time. This time he's the victim, and I commit the crime. Oh, 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 Our trailer made the front page of the Jefferson Gazette. Police investigation ruled the fire an accident. We both know who's guilty, but only one of us can tell. Now I'm 4 steps closer. His mom fell, turned to smoke, and smoke turned into flames. Flames consumed my problems, and my problems went away. Makeup covers bruises, and bruises heal with time. This time he's the victim, and I commit the crime. Yeah, I might not get to heaven, heaven knows that I'll sleep well, 'cause I'm 1 step closer, and I'll see his ass in hell. There it is. Love it. What is that app? I need to download it so I can make myself
Sorry.
feel better.
Is that too much?
I love it.
That was wonderful. That was wonderful.
I want that
awesome.
applause to follow me everywhere in life, Greg. What is it an app?
Oh, no, it's just I don't know. I just searched crowd applause or something. But we can arrange that large crowd applause. It's got 500,000 views.
I'm gonna drive around in my car listening to that.
Exactly. Mira, that was a beautiful tune.
Awesome.
Real quick, the Nashville connection, was that just because of your sound, or how did that all come about?
Well, I am a country artist, so there's that. I was really drawn towards, when I was kind of learning how to play guitar and learning how to play songs and wanting to write songs, I found myself really drawn towards the songs that were lyrically driven, and that by nature is country music. Now, I call my flavor of country diet country because I'm from Northern California and I don't have the accent, but it's still country, and I love it. And so that's the Nashville connection. If you want to be a great country songwriter, you gotta be there. It's like if you want to work in tech, you go to Silicon Valley.
The one thing I've noticed about bands from Nashville, even if the Wild Feathers, remember them, Renee?
Do I remember them? I love
their parents were all like session guys on Johnny Cash records and whatever, and they're these young kind of whatever. They're just a regular rock and roll band. But one thing about anybody from Nashville who's in music, regardless if it's country or whatever, you can tell a story, and you can sing, and you can play. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the whole package.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, everybody we've had on our show, from the Wood Brothers to, God knows, John Oates and Cruz.
John Oates.
We had John Oates on our show. I don't know.
I ran into him hiking in Nashville.
Well, there you go. That's what I was going to say. So they all want to be in Nashville because that's where A, it's a cool place to live, but B, that's where all the good players are, right?
You can hone your craft. It's amazing.
I have one quick question about Nashville and the country sound. Actually, it's not my question. It's my brother's, and he's a little drunk. Can you go
Rob?
I want to put a plug in for my dad's the bottled water here in South Carolina.
Oh,
It's
jeez.
unbelievable.
That was just open tonight. I could tell.
This is actually bottle number 2.
Oh my God, pouring a whole
Awesome.
glass. But Mira, can you yodel?
Can I yodel?
Yeah, is that a thing?
I mean, I'm not sober.
The whole I don't know who watched the Ken Burns country documentary, which was one of my things. When we thought that this lockdown was just going to be like a few weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to watch everything that Ken Burns has done because I haven't caught up on jazz or baseball.
And it's funny because I did the exact same thing. I literally did the same thing.
Exactly. But I did watch country because I am a fan of country music. But it's funny, yodeling is a part of country music, but until I watched George Burns, wow, that's dating me. For anyone who doesn't know, anybody under the age of 80, George Burns was this guy that had a cigar. But Ken Burns,
God, I think.
Yeah,
but
it
there's
was
the whole thing about yodeling, and I never knew about it. So there you go. So thank you, Renee, for bringing that up.
Well, Rob did it.
This is
Thank you,
my
Rob.
top pirate, by the way.
Brother Rob.
Pirate. You're
Pirate,
looking
go on,
Jack-
make fun of him. Go on.
No, he's got a fancy hairdo.
Yeah, no. So the groomers opened up before the hair salons. So he got his haircut. I shaved mine. But this is pirate. So there you
He
go.
looks very
He doesn't want to be here. There you go, sweetheart. So Andrew, should we get another tune from you?
Sure. Absolutely.
Wait, Andrew,
By the way,
I want to ask you, what's in your teacup?
What's in my teacup? It's actually tea.
Oh. all
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm drinking tea. I don't know why.
Drinking water.
I was the only it was the only cup that was clean,
We,
and I decided to go with it.
all of the musicians that we've had on our show since we started doing this virtually are all very well behaved.
Mm.
Don't tempt me. Oh
Glad
man.
I'm not a musician.
Yeah, Rob's cool, man. Rob's VIP.
Well, maybe you're just going to be part of our show from now on.
You should me in from Boston. We got Wi-Fi there too.
Real quick,
about
while
that.
I think of it, so it was a long time ago, and my stomach will tell you that it was a long time ago, but in 2008, I qualified to run the Boston Marathon.
Oh.
And I was obviously younger then, I was pretty good at running for a while. So off to Boston we went, and Rob is a big shot in the city of Boston. So we flew in so the Boston Marathon's on Patriots Day, which is a Monday in, what is it, April, Rob?
April.
Yeah. And the Red Sox are always at home that weekend, and they always play a game right after the marathon.
It's their opening game. It's their opening. It's their home opener.
Oh, you're right, because it's late. Yeah, because your weather sucks, so you have to do it later in April.
Dang.
But anyway, so I said to Renee, "Hey, we're going to Boston. I know your brother's pretty well connected. It would be amazing to go to Fenway Park. I mean, Renee will tell you, I hate the Red Sox more than anybody. But it's like Wrigley Field or whatever. I'm like, I really want to go to Fenway Park. And so Rob arranges it, and we go to Will Call and we get our tickets, not knowing where we're going to be. And we're literally sitting at the Red Sox dugout, right behind them, like front and center, like best seats in the house. And Manny and Ortiz were both playing with the Red Sox at the time.
Big lunch.
Manny got into, and so he hit a home run first of all, but then he got into an argument with the home plate umpire and got thrown out of the game. And Sam, my wife, was with me, and she hates baseball, and she's like, "This is the greatest fucking thing ever." She goes, "If every game was like this, I would go to baseball all the time."
Oh, yeah.
And then we told her about his little hut under the Green Monster that he went to when he opens that little door. So anyway, if I never told you in person, because I don't think I've seen you since then, thank you for providing. It was like a one.
You did tell me, and I'm glad I could do it for you. I know it was the first time you went to Fenway. And my friend who worked for the Red Sox was actually the owner's personal secretary. So you actually had the owner's seats that night.
Are you
He
kidding?
was away.
God, dude.
He was away somewhere else. So you got his seats for the night. Everything, like all the stars aligned. And I'm glad it worked out for you.
Well, thank you, because I said to Sam, this doesn't.
John, you can thank John Henry for taking a vacation that particular day.
Well, thank you. That all makes sense. You hear that? Okay, Andrew. Sorry.
Yes. No worries.
Deflect from you. Let's get another tune.
Okay.
Andrew St. James.
All right. Hold on. I'm gonna do a little turn down here. Turn it down. Is that good? Can you hear me speak? Should I turn it up? Should I turn it down? Turn it up. Turn it down. All right. This track I wrote. I was living in Los Angeles for a period of time, which is where pop songwriters learn to get worse at everything. So it's a joke, but a bad one at that. Anyway, I had management down there. I actually lived in Boston, Rob, for a period of time. I went to college there for a small time until I eventually dropped out and became a degenerate. And straight from there, I came back to San Francisco and then got management in Los Angeles and moved there for a while. And I kind of moved down there for both the management music world and for someone I was seeing for a long time. That didn't work out. And then then everything fell apart in my life. And I managed to get arrested. I managed to lose all my money. And I just fuck everything up, which is extremely, actually, in hindsight, good that it happened. Considering everything else that's going on in my life now. But yeah, at the time I was extremely miserable. And so I wrote this track about being extremely miserable and about Los Angeles. And it's called Los Angeles. And you can find it online. I also managed to break a string in the middle of Mira's last song, so my setup's a little funky currently. So have patience. If I don't say it, will you never see? Bridges broken down from who I used to be. Your heart is a ghost, which I've been engrossed. It took part of me. Where will you go? Will I ever know if you're all I need? Without me, without me, without me, without me. Oh, look how the love refrains, leaving as it came. Will it just leave us lonely without me. Without me. Well, yeah, times are changing. You are undoubtedly. The rains are falling down to Los Angeles. If you were not far, would we have become a jar, open and out of reach? Where will you go? Will I ever know if you're all I need? Without me, without me, without me, without me. Whoa, look how the love refrain, leave it as it came. Who am I today? Just some shadow without me. Without me. Thank you all.
Greg, you nailed the clapping, the applause.
Thank you. I'm
Nailed
practicing.
it. So good. And Andrew, music.
Greg, I would expect none less than perfection out of you.
Oh, thank you. Andrew, that was a beautiful song.
It was so beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you.
Mira, I don't know how much you can talk about this. We talked a little bit when we were sound checking yesterday, but Andrew, how was your year shaping up before everything happened?
Really
Remember to turn up your volume.
Oh, really good. Thank you for the reminder.
I'm a producer.
My year was going to be extremely good, but now it's not. I mean, as I mentioned before, it's a little intimate maybe, but I got in some legal trouble a couple years ago, and I kind of put my music career on hold.
I want to know more about the legal trouble.
No. I got in trouble with the federal government. That says anything, and they don't like fake IDs apparently. I really liked making them. But anyway, it's good money. Anyway, but that aside, I ended up on probation for a period of time, and I was in San Francisco, probably back to San Francisco from Los Angeles, and I finally am off of I've served my time.
Wow, I feel like you've told us far too much.
No. See, it's all going to make sense in the end. But so okay. Meanwhile, when I came back to San Francisco, I just felt really dejected and all my shit. I just was feeling not good, and I started throwing these parties. The parties started to become really big, and we continued to do that, and I ended up moving from a small bar, Amnesia, which is fantastic, RIP, to the Chapel. And that was just kind of getting started. Throughout all of that, I had started 2 other side project bands. One called Juan Wayne, which is a project of my buddy Cesar, who lives in Los Angeles, who toured with me for a period of time. And that's like, all the songs are about suicide, and we dress like cowboys, and everyone in the band are like rotating front people of other acts that are fantastic. We make them dress ridiculously. So that was a hit at Amnesia and at the chapel and stuff. But then there was a new band that was named after the party because two dudes were in it with me, Duncan Nielsen, who goes by an artist named Don Cat, and Cody Rhodes, who both were playing in the band Geographer, the pop band. And then Cody plays with Christopher Owens, Girls, and a handful of other people. But yeah, so we had started this kind of like larger, more accessible, like think like, I don't know, Killers vibe rock project. And yeah, that had been just like catching fire here in San Francisco. I mean, Aaron Axelson had been playing it and all sorts of stuff. And we had, without releasing any music, we're booked for at least a West Coast tour with a couple of festivals and stuff in March, right as this all happened, which is unfortunate. And I had the Juan Wayne stuff happening and everything was about to be birthed essentially. But now it's all being reorganized, considering what we're dealing with now. And I guess I feel pretty lucky because I for so long I was all about the music and all about art and all about performing as like attempting to promote myself or someone else or whatever. And then because of all the trouble I got myself into, I ended up like spending more time, allocating more time into throwing parties and shows and stuff. And for the last like year or two, like that's really where my head's been at. And so when all that was disallowed with COVID, it was interesting to like kind of realize that like the reason why all that shit was happening was because I can sit at home and write music, or like as Mira said, like go and like call my buddy in Los Angeles or in Nashville for that matter and be like, hey, like, write some tracks or like do this online or whatever. Like I kind of like, I'd almost like my brain had just kind of forgotten about that. So it's been nice because so now there's like all sorts of insane plans for everything going on regarding releasing music, etc.
We had Megan Slankard on, and she wouldn't say the name of the festival, but we all kind of figured out what it was. She was slated to play this big festival at the end of the summer in San Francisco, and all of a sudden that got put on hold. But the thing is, it's everything is going to be put back a year, right? Hopefully, so.
Hopefully, yeah. We'll see who survives.
Mira, I don't know, you and I spoke yesterday. I don't know how much you want to talk about that publicly, but your year was going pretty well too.
Yeah, 2020 was kind of my launch year. I feel like I've spent many years preparing for it, and we put out our first single on February 7th. It's called Nobody Warned Me, and we sent it to radio, and it was like the ad date was March 26th. For radio. And of course, like as soon as COVID happened, like, I mean, not COVID, but the shelter in place orders started here. And then it, obviously, you guys know, it trickled across the country, and nobody's commuting anymore. And everybody who had kind of verbally committed to adding the single got laid off. So it totally tanked. It's not still tanking. It just didn't have the start that we wanted. The single's actually doing pretty well. We're currently at 55 on the Music Row country chart, so it's very exciting.
That's awesome.
But I had some big opportunities that I wasn't even allowed to announce yet, like some shows that I was in and festivals and such, and opening slots for bigger bands that were really good opportunities for somebody in my position, and all those went away. But we adapt, we overcome, and we get through it. So the mobile concerts are a really fun way for me to feed my soul and exercise my creative muscle, and finding new ways to make them interesting too. So it'll be all right. It's just I spent that first month making cocktails at home every night.
Oh man.
Well, like we were saying, this is all going to pick up for everybody at where it left off. So we're coming to the end of the hour, so we'd like to get another song from you both, if that's okay. So Mira, you're up next.
Absolutely. Let's do the one that's at radio. It's called Nobody Warned Me. Awesome. And for all of you guys watching at home, if you want to support me in a way that is not monetary, because I know times are hard right now, what you can do is call your local country station or Americana station and request to hear this song, Nobody Warned Me by Mira Goto. tried to talk me out of leaving, but my heart made up its mind. So they warned me about the dangers of taking on a 3-day drive. They warned me about weather, about the tornadoes, how the summer sure gets hot and the winter's twice as cold. Daddy gave me a can of pepper spray, said it's best to be prepared. And Mama slipped me a little money, said this ought to get you there. They warned me about strangers, about living on my own, about ups and downs, the sights and sounds, and 1,000 do's and don'ts, but not about blue eyes, and not about a southern drawl, not about opening up doors, no, none of that at all. Stay away from bad boys and dirty old cowboy boats. They tried to warn me, but nobody warned me about you. And I did not see you coming. Talk about a sweet surprise. These feelings that I'm feeling are ones that I don't want to fight. You waltzed right in with just one smile, swept me off of my feet. I was warned about the bad things that this town might do to me, but not about blue eyes, and not about a southern drawl, not about opening up doors or how fast my heart could fall. Stay away from bad boys and dirty old cowboy boats. They tried to warn me, but nobody warns me about driving your truck or that long jump out, about a moonshine buzz and all those late nights in your house. It's only been a couple months, but this feels like home. Yeah, they warned me that might happen, but they did not know it'd be about blue eyes, about a southern drawl, how you open up my door and how fast my heart could fall. And stay away from bad boys and dirty old cowboy boats. They tried to warn me, but nobody warned me. They tried to warn me, but nobody warned me about you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you, Greg and Ryan. There it is. And the crowd goes mild.
Wow, the crowd. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Sorry, the timing was off on that. Mira, that song's like a hit record.
Oh,
They have big chorus vibes. Good
Mira,
job.
can I ask a question? Who makes your guitar? Because that is a really beautiful looking guitar. I mean, you make it sing, but it really is a pretty guitar.
They don't pay me enough to tell their name.
Oh,
online.
Damn.
So much.
Gibson.
Yeah, right.
Gibson. They don't need any help selling guitars. That was amazing.
Thank you.
I remember you played that when you did our show, our regular show, and I remember it sticking out then, and yeah.
Well, I'm excited that it's finally out and that we have a record of it. So, yeah, thanks for letting me play it on your show again.
Sure. So, Mira, the thing in Nashville, there's songwriters and there's like, I'm a huge George Jones fan, and when you get
George Jones is awesome.
George Jones doesn't actually write his own tunes. I'm like, oh my God. But that's like standard in Nashville. Do you ever see yourself, do you want to be a fully fledged, country star, or could you see yourself writing songs, or?
All of it. I want all of it. I've got a spot on my mantle for my Grammy, but then I wrote a song that I think will be perfect for Blake Shelton. So
where's he at? Holler at him. Straight up.
But regardless, excuse me, that's the thing about Nashville. You can go there, you can live there, and you can be both, right?
Yeah, and I also like you said, it's pretty standard for artists to write their own songs, but you know, every once in a while you hear a song that's just, oh, that song, that is my song, and it's better than anything that you could write, you know, possibly. And so there's a song on my upcoming album. There's a song that I recorded that I didn't write, but when I heard it, I felt like that was my song. And so there's songs like that out there. It's a little bit more rare lately, but it does happen.
Okay. Andrew, let's get one more tune out of you.
Okay, I'll make it quick.
No.
Make it. I mean, it's gonna be about a minute long.
This isn't. No. Hang on. This isn't like a hard cutoff at all.
I'm joking. But yes.
Somewhere to be.
I gotta go, dude. I got like crazy plans tonight.
Renee, so what time is it with you now, Renee? 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 10. Yeah.
Okay, so one more tune from Andrew, and then we'll wrap it up. And once again, in the description on Facebook, we have links to both Andrew and Mira's PayPal and Venmo, and also the Blue Bear School of Music, where Renee is on the board.
Yay, Greg, representing Blue Bear better than I ever could.
Damn.
And Mira noted this a second ago. Times are tough. Certainly nobody expects anybody to give money to anybody at the moment. But if you can, please do.
Amazing. Is that my segue?
Yeah.
Just like that crowd sound, I'm just going to have amazing.
Okay. Well, so this song is called Olivia. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? I'm going to turn myself down. Can you hear me now, Greg?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're good.
Okay. Anyhow, this came out on a record. Julie Schuchard, it's a woman in San Francisco, has a record label called Tricycle Records, and this record came out on her record label in 2018, called Liberation Music for Boring People. This is a song off of it. It's called Olivia. Can you hear me now? Mistress of Mercy, Miss Controversy, dressed in a coma on the Lower East Side, found in the basement. To your amazement, there's no one by your side. There's no one by your side. Hear me now. Olivia, can you hear me now? Lady so lucid, you had disputed all of the merit of your new career. Locked in a safe box with a rosé and Botox, your years they disappeared. Years they disappear. Oh, Olivia, can you hear me now? Olivia, can you hear me now? Shot your credit in your comp somehow. Olivia, can you hear me now? Turn back to Jesus, won't really please us. You need commitment to calm your own mind. Girls on the mantle, looking real gentle. You're the last of your kind. last of your kind. Oh, Olivia, can you hear me now? Oh, Olivia, can you hear me now? Shot your credit in your coat somehow. Oh, Olivia, can you hear me now? Oh. Oof. Wow.
Ah! No! I completely screwed that up. What happened?
Andrew, that was such a beautiful
It
song.
was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was such a beautiful song.
I apologize. The video had reached the end and I didn't realize it. So, or the sound effects. So, apologies. But it was truly deserved.
You had no fake clapping, but you had real clapping.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So that's it. Thank you so
Well, I
much,
was
you
gonna
guys.
say, I was a little concerned that up until now I was a little worried that Renee did not have talented musical friends.
Well, Rob, there's been a few.
Rob, you're VIP at this fucking thing. You're number one, Rob. Holy
Rob, there's
shit.
been requests both from my wife and various people online that you become a permanent member of the show.
Me?
Yes.
I support that.
He was saying he's having fun and he would do this again. I was like, well, I'll have to ask and see if he can come on.
Yeah. Back in the day, Renee and I used to get paid to do this.
Oh.
I could be the peanut gallery, or is that a racist term
Peanut
now?
gallery. No. Careful now. Careful. So look, once again, Andrew St. James, Mira Goto, thank you very, very much.
Both you guys were amazing, absolutely amazing.
Absolutely amazing. They were both amazing. We don't need to tell our audience this, but musicians don't have any way of making money right now. So please support them on Venmo and PayPal. The links are in the description for this video on Facebook. Like I said, Renee and I, we make money from our podcast. Mostly, I think, if we're being honest, it's because I post old KFOG stuff that I managed to get my hands on. But we pass that forward to the musicians. So both Mira and Andrew are going to get paid tonight. And we'll make a donation also to the Blue Bear School of Music.
And anybody can at any time donate to Blue Bear School of Music because we know how well it did for Andrew.
There I am.
There you go. Yeah. Andrew went from talking about taking music lessons to having an affair with somebody's daughter.
It's just a lie.
Affair, they dated.
Dated. Sorry.
Not an affair, we went to high school together. Great.
Yeah.
Give Andrew some money so he can buy a guitar that looks as good as Mira's.
Mira,
I like that. Rob is my number one here, dude. You're number one. I like that.
So look, thank you very, very, very much. So we normally do these every other Monday. But I think that the next Monday is going to be the 6th of July, which is a holiday because I think the 4th of July falls on a week. Yeah, it does, obviously, on a Saturday. So we're going to do our next show on Tuesday, the 7th, and it's going to be Nat from Hot Buttered Rum and Jay Blakesberg.
Jay Blakesberg. Wow.
Yeah, so they will be our guests then.
I also went to high school with his daughter.
Did you date her?
No, I did not date her.
Anyway, Andrew St. James, Mira Goto, thank you so much. This was a blast. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh, and Rob Rottenbooker.
Rob. All right.
My 3 friends that are watching on Facebook.
All right. Thank you all. See you guys.
Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you.